There's a difference between being great and being untouchable. And for almost 2 decades, Floyd Money Mayweather wasn't just a boxer. He was a businessman, an architect, and a mirror, reflecting both the brilliance and the flaws of modern boxing. Floyd Mayweather didn't just dominate his opponents, he dominated the system. He mastered the business of fighting, and in doing so, he changed the sport forever. But the same perfection that made him a legend might have broken the very thing that built him. Let's start with the facts. 50 wins, 0 losses, 23 world champions defeated, 5 weight divisions conquered. He turned defense into an art form, strategy into poetry, and money into motivation. He was never the biggest, never the strongest, never the fastest, but he was always the smartest, the most prepared. From Oscar de la Hoya to Canelo Alvarez, from Manny Pacquiao to Marcus Maidana, every challenge was calculated but earned. He fought the best, sometimes a little late, sometimes perfectly timed, and every time he found a way to win. That's why he called himself the best ever. And whether you love him or hate him, there's a strong argument that he might be right. But here's where Floyd transcended the sport: the money. They call him Money Mayweather for a reason, the epitome of a prize fighter. By the time he retired, he'd earned over $1.1 billion, becoming the first boxer and one of the first athletes ever to cross that mark. $300 million from the McGregor fight, $250 million from Pacquiao, tens of millions more from endorsement deals, PPV splits, and the Money Team empire. He flipped the fight game from sport to enterprise. Floyd didn't just fight for belts, he fought for ownership. He proved that in boxing, you don't have to be promoted, you can be the promoter. He built a business model where risk was minimized, profit was maximized, and legacy was preserved. And it worked. Too well, maybe. Because when Floyd retired 50-0, something changed in boxing's DNA. That perfect record became the new gold standard, the measure of greatness. Every fighter wanted to be the next Floyd, undefeated, flawless, untouchable. But that mindset, it's a trap. Fighters stopped chasing greatness. They started chasing preservation. The 0 became more valuable than the opponent, and that's how the system broke. Look at Errol Spence Jr. versus Terence Crawford. For years, fans begged for that fight. Both men in their prime, both champions, both elite. But promoters hesitated, negotiations dragged. Because if one of them lost, the mystique was gone. The 0 would vanish, and so would the illusion of invincibility. When they finally fought in 2023, Crawford dominated. Spence's image collapsed overnight. One loss, and the same fans who once called him unbeatable started calling him finished. The same thing with Ryan Garcia. After losing to Gervonta Tank Davis, the internet turned him into a meme. A year later, he beat Devin Haney, but the conversation was still about who had an L, not what they overcame. In boxing today, one loss can erase a career's worth of credibility. And that's not just unfair, it's unsustainable. Now look at MMA. Losses don't kill careers, they create storylines. Take Alexander Volkanovski. Back-to-back knockout losses to Islam Makhachev and Ilia Topuria. Most sports would have buried him. But when he stepped back in the cage against Diego Lopes, the fans still respected him because they know he fights his best every time. There's no cherry picking, no waiting for perfect timing. In MMA, greatness isn't about avoiding risk. It's about facing it. That's why we see legends like John Jones, Kamaru Usman, or Max Holloway, with losses, still celebrated as icons. The culture rewards courage, not perfection. Here's the paradox. Floyd Mayweather made fighters richer, smarter, and more business-minded than ever. He showed that fighters could control their careers, their money, and their image. But he also made them fear losing. That fear froze the sport. We went from fighters chasing legacy to fighters protecting records. And the worst part? Fans started to adopt the same mindset. They began to value flawlessness more than competition. We stopped asking who's the best right now and started asking who's still undefeated. The Floyd effect turned boxing from a battlefield into a negotiation table. But here's the truth. Losing doesn't erase greatness. It reveals it. Muhammad Ali lost 5 times. Lennox Lewis got knocked out twice and came back both times. Those moments didn't make them lesser. They made them real. And that's what boxing needs again. Reality. Because as long as fighters keep chasing the illusion of perfection, we'll keep waiting years for fights that should happen right now. Floyd Mayweather is one of the greatest to ever do it. That's not up for debate. He mastered the game so completely, he became bigger than the sport itself. But in doing so, he built a shadow over boxing, a standard so high, so flawless, that it stopped others from rewarding the fans. The profit's still impressive, but at the expense of frustrated consumers. The goal used to be greatness. Now, it's to keep the zero. And until boxing learns to let go of that, the sport will keep fighting itself.